Mimi's Mannequins and Pattern Draping. Your own private 6-day doll making workshop with Mimi. Mimi's Mannequins. Lesson 5, Making Arm and Hand. Lesson 5, Making Arm and Hand. Chapter 1, Stuffing Materials. Airtex Premium is my stuffing of choice. It is the Rolls-Royce of stuffing. It has no lumps or unexploded fibers. It clings to itself, which means it stays exactly where I put it. I can sculpt with this stuff. I do, every day. Be sure to request Premium. Airtex makes another silkier stuffing that is very good for other things, but not for my dolls. If Airtex is not available in your area, other doll makers have recommended Hobbs Best or Mountain Mist. Both are excellent. Look for a pure polyester polyfill or FIBERFILL and not quilt batting. Let me show you how I move stuff around inside the doll skin. I put my finger about 1/2 inch or 1 centimeter from the tip of the needle. If I put my finger too close to the tip, I can tear the fabric. If I put my finger too far back, I can break the needle. I dig down into the stuffing, scoop the stuffing up, and move it around. In the classroom, I pass it around for the students to feel. It gets quite firm there. When I pull the stuffing up that way, they are really surprised how firm it gets. Lesson 5, Making the Arm and Hand. Chapter 2, Trim Arm and Hand. I have a pair of Fiskars micro tips here that I have marked for hands only, because these little tips are so sharp and so fine that they can get right between the fingers and snip right up to the stitching line very easily. A scissors won't do that, and if you don't clip to the stitching, you will have lots and lots of wrinkles in the seam allowance and you won't be able to turn the finger properly. You have to watch the stitching whether you can see the marks or not. Cut the seam allowance around each finger pretty close to the stitching, because too much seam allowance gets in the way. There's too much fabric to trap inside when we turn the finger. On the arm outside the fingers and hand, trim the seam allowance in half. Slit and notch the seam allowance along the arm with a couple of notches up around the curves of the upper arm. Get out the grip glue and needle tip dispenser. Apply a thin bead to seam allowances around the fingers and hand on both sides. Don't do this until you're ready to wire and stuff it. It is easier to do the wires and stuffing while the grip is still soft. This makes the seams so strong that they rarely pop when I turn them. If I should manage to pop one, I'll show you how to fix it. Don't do more than one hand at a time. It works better if the grip is still slightly wet and tacky. Wipe the excess glue away from the fabric. Roll the glue off your hands. Lesson 5, Making Arm and Hand. Chapter 3, Turn Fingers. Turning small fingers requires the use of finger turning tools. You can use the 1/16 or 2 mm thin wall brass tubing available in short lengths at model and hobby stores. You will also need a number 18 chenille needle and 2 corks from wine bottles or the hobby store. The corks aren't absolutely necessary, they just make it a lot easier to find and use the tool. Cut off the tubing to about 4 inches or 10 centimeters. You can use both end pieces if you want to make 2. Put the cut end into one of the corks. It is too rough to allow it to come in contact with the fabric. Put the point of the chenille needle into the second cork. The eye shape of the chenille needle makes it perfect for what we need to do. Do not use a needle with a broken or cut eye. It will cut the fabric. The idea is to put the tube into each finger to hold one side of the fabric end in place. Then you put the eye of the chenille needle on the seam allowance at the end of the tube or the end of the finger and hold the other side of the fabric in place. You don't have to press any harder than it takes to hold the fabric in place. You do not use the tool to turn the finger, only to hold the fabric in place while you twist your fingers and push the fabric off the tube and onto the needle. If you push too hard, either the needle or the tube will break through the fabric. This is why we use the chenille needle. Its end is flat and it holds well. If you cut the eye of a needle, you will have a sharp edge that will make holes in the fabric. Unfortunately, this takes 3 hands. So put the cork on the tube against your belly or the table. Use one hand to hold the needle in place and use your other hand to twist the finger off the tube and onto the needle. You may need to use the tip of the doll-making needle to move past a wrinkle where the finger has not turned smoothly. After applying grip, make certain that the fingers have not been glued together. Use the stuffing tool or the finger turning tube to open up each finger. Push the tube into a finger. Usually I hold the end of the tube against my body, but you won't be able to see it. Use the eye of the needle to hold the seam allowance against the top of the tube. Just hold the eye against the seam allowance and use your fingers to twist the fabric off the tube onto the needle right side out, one finger at a time. Repeat for the next finger. Sometimes it's a little stubborn. Use the tip of a doll needle and just lift the fabric up over the wrinkle that it's made inside. That's why it doesn't want to go over it. Repeat for the rest of the fingers. Reach inside with the hemostats and grab any finger and turn the hand right side out. Now put the tube into each finger to make sure it's completely turned. Use the tip of a doll needle to pull out any areas that are not turned completely. These generally are wrinkles in the seams that are to be straightened out. Use the tip of the needle to pull the finger off the tube so it won't have any wrinkles. Who said turning fingers is hard? You just have to have the right tools and know how to use them. Lesson 5, Making Arm and Hand. Chapter 4, Wire Fingers. This is the simplest possible armature for hands that can grip an object. There are individual wires for each of the 4 fingers in 2 groups of 2. The thumb wire comes up from the center and then curves out to the side. When the 5 wires are in place, clamp them with a hemostat so that the hand wires won't be affected by what you do to form the wrist and the arm armature. Move the thumb wire to be in the center with the other wires around it. Wrap the wire bundle with floral tape to keep it together and stuff around the armature. To start, grab the inside of the arm with the hemostats and make a cuff from the upper arm so that you can work more easily with the hand. You don't have to worry about whether it's a right or a left hand. That doesn't become a problem until the second hand. These are old-fashioned pipe cleaners. They're the soft ones without the nasty bristles that stick through fabric. This is the short size, about 6 inches or 15 centimeters long. They come from the smoke shop or newsagent. You need 5 of them for each hand. Do not use chenille stems. The wire isn't strong enough to pose and the bristles are too thin for good stuffing. About the length of the finger, I'm going to turn down the end so that the finger armature is doubled wire, while they come together as 5 single wires into the arm armature. The doubling of the finger wire makes the pipe cleaner big enough to fill up the entire finger, so we don't have to worry about more filling. Use larger hemostats to crimp the ends so it will fit in the finger. Switch to the smaller hemostats to install it. Start at the little finger, then do the ring finger. Hold it tight after pushing it in so that you don't pull it out again. Get the wires flat against each other. Continue with the middle and index fingers. Now the 4 finger wires should all be flat in the hand. Straighten them out so that they are flat all along the length. This can either be a left or a right hand depending on how I put the thumb in. The first one can be either hand. The second one needs to make up a pair. I'm going to make this one a left hand. This wire does not go in alongside the others. It comes right up out of the center and then bends into the thumb. That's going to give you the ability to move the thumb any way you want it to go. You can pose it. Take a bit of white floral tape, stretch it to activate the adhesive. Wrap it around the area where the end of the wire comes back so that you can't rip the fabric when you move it. Bend it so it has the same shape as the base of the thumb in your palm. Run that right up to the center and into the thumb. Now take the larger hemostat and grasp across all of the wires right there and lock it. Pull all of this down. Make sure the thumb wire is in the center. Clamp to hold the wires in direct order and flat for the hand. Tear off a piece of paper floral tape and stretch it to activate the adhesive. Wrap the floral tape around the bundle of wires with the thumb wire in the center of the bundle. Add more tape as necessary to wrap the whole bundle of wires. Use the wood block to make sure that no sharp wire ends stick out toward the side. Use more floral tape as necessary to make sure that nothing sharp is exposed. Add another layer of tape to make a smoother bundle. Rolling it on the table helps smooth it out too. Lesson 5, Making Arm and Hand. Chapter 5, Stuff Hand and Arm. The hand is wedge-shaped. Put in only a very small amount in the back of the hand. Fill any empty spaces without making the hand bulge. Spread the stuffing flat by opening and closing the hemostat jaws. In the palm, you need a little bit of stuffing at the base of the fingers and where the thumb comes in. The thumb doesn't start here, but back at the wrist. You can make a dart to hold the thumb over if you want to, and use the ladder stitch to hold the thumb over in place. Next, stuff the wrist, a little bit at a time to prevent overstuffing the hand. This finger is too high. Now stuff up the arm, working around the armature. Don't forget the wrinkle here where the wrist bends. Use the tip of a doll needle to adjust as necessary. No spaghetti arms allowed. Elbows are sharp. Stuff up to the elbow. Bend the arm to help you locate the elbow. Insert stuffing so that the sharpness of the elbow shows. Be sure the seams are not twisted. Continue stuffing the upper arm around the armature. Lesson 5, Making Arm and Hand. Chapter 6, Clothes Arm. This is a crooked seam. It becomes unnoticeable when turned in one direction only. Make a big knot using strong thread. Cut the tail short. Remark the stitching line if it is faded. Start at one of the arm seams. Bury the knot inside the opening. Come through about halfway between the purple line and the edge. Then make a running stitch all the way around the opening and back to the start. Stay about halfway between the purple line and the edge all the way around. When you get back to the beginning, pull the thread up, closing the arm like a drawstring sack. Smooth it around so that it is even. Hold the end tight with your thumb and make a double loop stitch. That is, take a small stitch and put the needle through the loop twice, then pull tight. Cut off the tail, leaving about 1/4 inch or 5 millimeter. Using the tips of your large hemostat, push the gathered neck through itself so that there is only a small circle on the outside. Then insert more stuffing through the hole until the arm and shoulder are fully filled out. Lesson 5, Making Arm and Hand. Chapter 7, Clothes Hand. Lots of doll makers make the mistake of bending their fingers here. I did it myself when I was a new doll maker. The fingers bend here. So take your hemostats and put them across here, then you bend them. Then place your hemostats here for the second bend, and bend the second joint, and the third joint. This hand I want to put in an up position. So I'm going to bend it where I want it to be and crease it with my fingernail. Now I'm going to pin the dart to hold it in place. You can see the crease. When you have the entire dart pinned, mark the edges on either side. Remove the pin, and here's my dart. True it up, making it come together at the side seam. Using the upholstery thread, make a big knot and clip off the tail. Bury the knot in the center of the dart and come out near one end. Take several small stitches on opposite sides. Push the dart together and pull the stitches tight. Then continue making small stitches on opposite sides and pulling stitches tight until you reach the other end of the dart. End with a double lock stitch, a small stitch with the needle through the loop twice and pull tight. Then bury the end of the thread by pushing the needle through the arm and cutting off the thread where it emerges from the arm. Smooth out the dart so the bend looks natural. We're not going to attach the arms because they get in the way when we drape the clothing. It's easier to drape the arm for a sleeve if it's not attached to the body. It's easier to dress the doll, put the shirt on and the jacket, then sleeve the arm, then fold them back and attach the arm, then the shirt sleeve and the jacket sleeve. Remember, the doll's arms don't bend around to make it easier to get her clothes on and off. End Lesson 5.